So how do Formula One photographers and motorsport photographers shoot through the catch fence to get clean shots of the cars on track during a session or a race when there's no photo window to use? Well, let's talk about it. My name is Jamie Price. I'm a professional motorsport photographer, which means I travel around the world taking pictures of race cars through catch fences. That's my job. I have to do it all the time, and it is something I'm very, very used to doing because quite a lot of my time I spend shooting through catch fences. This weekend I'm here in Monaco for the Monaco Formula One Grand Prix, and I'm going to spend a lot of my weekend shooting through catch fences because this place especially has a lot of catch fences and not very many photo windows. Photo window, if you're not familiar, is literally a cut piece of the fence that the series or the track will cut out for us to use specifically for photo and video. Now the problem is that they aren't always in great locations, so I don't know who chooses where the photo windows go, but quite often they have almost no photography experience, and you can tell because they've placed a photo window. They've just kind of taken a map and said, let's put one there, one there, one there. They don't actually know anything about photography, angles, where we would want to stand to take pictures of a series or a track or that particular corner. It varies a lot. So, you know, we have photo windows around at some of these tracks, but not every track has photo windows, and not every corner has photo windows, and not every part of a corner has photo windows. It's just something you kind of, they're there some places and not some places. Some are in the right spot and others are just completely in the wrong spot, and you don't even know what the person was thinking when they decided to put a photo window there. But quite often around a racetrack, we don't have photo windows. We don't have photo windows where we need them, so we have to shoot through the catch fence. And that's what I'm talking about today, is how to shoot through the catch fence, get clean pictures of the cars without the fence in the photos. Now, it doesn't require photoshopping. It doesn't require a bunch of sitting in front of your computer and taking the fence out manually with the clone tool or object aware, all that stuff. You don't even have to do it. All you have to do is use a wide open aperture or a slow shutter speed. Those are the two ways to do it. Now, let's talk about the first one, the wide open aperture. When you have a wide open aperture, this is a 50mm f1.4. When you have a wide open aperture, that aperture and the aperture blades are open all the way. So it's letting lots of light in, and there's lots of depth. Depth of field is basically like really, really shallow. Now, what it does is essentially it's like when you're wearing sunglasses and you have a scratch or a nick on your sunglasses, your eyes don't really see it. It kind of maybe sees something is there, but not really. You can have the fence between you and your subject, but your lens and the camera sensor doesn't really see it. Now, I often talk about how much more important the lenses are versus the camera itself. Now, what I mean by that is the camera is doing the work. Yes, it's taking the picture, but what's doing the most work is the lens, the aperture, the depth of field, the sharpness, some of the color. All the stuff that you really like about a picture is probably coming from the lens, not the camera itself. And in this particular case, with what we're talking about, how to make the fence disappear, the lens is absolutely the most important part of this. So you want to use a wide open aperture, f1.4 if you can do it. f1.8 is great, f2 is great, f2.8 is great. And then when you start getting above that f4, f5, 6, you're going to start seeing the fence appear quite noticeably in the pictures. So using a wide open aperture will help you make that fence disappear. The other way to make the fence disappear is using a longer focal length. This is a 70-200. I also have a 400 f2.8, which is the video that I've done previously. That is why I've made that decision to use a 400 f2.8, because it makes the fence disappear when you're shooting at f2.8. But the wider your lens is, like if you're shooting on a 20mm or a 35mm, you start seeing more of the fence because your field of view is much wider, so you're looking at more of the fence instead of kind of looking past it. With a telephoto lens, it's better, it's easier. It's just a way easier way to work with the fences, to shoot through it, shoot past it. I'm not shooting through the holes necessarily, like I'm kind of shooting at an angle. And if you're at an angle, you're not shooting through the gaps in the fence like some of these people on social media think that I'm doing. No, I'm shooting like through multiple layers of this fence. So that's really where the f2.8 helps a lot, and the longer focal length helps a lot because it's looking past the fence, and all of this just becomes nothing. It might be visible a little bit, but it's not nearly as visible as you'd think it would be. I wanted to quickly talk about some of the filters and polarizers I use at events like this one. Now, I don't always always have polarizers on, but K&F Concept recently came to me and they said they wanted me to talk about some of the polarizers that they make and that I might use at these races. And I was like, great, because I already use them. I use some of their action camera mounts too. I have quite a lot of K&F Concept products, and they make your favorite polarizers and action camera mounts and tripods. They do a lot of different things. But polarizers are one of those things that I do use quite a lot. It just helps cut the glare off the racetrack and cars. When I'm doing road car photography especially, you want to be able to cut the reflections off the car. For racing, race cars aren't always gloss, so they're not always reflective, so polarizers don't always help that much, but they do help with the color and the reflectiveness of the racetrack. So when the sun's kind of high overhead but not super backlit, it can kind of help cut that glare off the road and make it a little bit easier to shoot and keep the natural colors. You get those beautiful blue skies when you use a polarizer. ND filters I use all the time for slow pans. When I'm doing really slow pans around the racetrack, I'll have a variable ND filter that I'll use, like this one. This is a 2 to 32 ND filter, so you get a lot of different range for this one, so I can adjust it just based on what the lighting conditions are, what my needs are, what kind of picture I'm trying to make, how slow of a shutter speed I'm using, because the slower your shutter speed, the more light you're letting into the sensor. The more light you're letting into the sensor, the brighter your image is going to be, so you have to have a way to knock that light down. So I'll use an ND filter to do that. So ND filters and circular polarizers are something I use all the time. It's not always on my camera, especially at the end of the day where you're getting those beautiful backlit pictures. I don't want a polarizer on. You know, morning, like mid-morning, high noon, mid-afternoon, I've got a polarizer on all the time. When I'm doing road car photography, I've got a polarizer on all the time. So big thank you to K&F Concept for sending me some really cool products to use. In addition to the ones I've already got, I've got star filters that I've used. You know, I use a lot of their products. So big thank you to K&F Concept for supporting me and for helping creators and photographers like me with, you know, incredible products that we rely on for our line of work. So, all right, back to the action. Now there's another side of this that's kind of like a, you know, a part B to shooting through fences. The silver reflective catch fences reflect a lot more light than the fences that are like darker in color, like Indianapolis Motor Speedway. All of their fencing is black, so it really actually is much easier to shoot through than the silver reflective stuff that reflects a lot of light back into the sensor. So if you can find a fence that's black, it works a lot better to shoot through versus, you know, the reflective stuff like this. Spray painting fences works a little bit. You know, it definitely helps a lot. If you have a little chalk marker, you can do that, but it's just a lot of work. So a lot of times I don't do it. I will just kind of try and find the spot that works for me to shoot through the fence. Now there's another way to shoot through the fence that isn't aperture related and isn't focal length related. It's shutter speed. Using a really, really slow shutter speed, you will basically follow the car as it goes past, and using a slow shutter speed, and I'm talking like a 40th of a second, a 30th of a second, a 20th of a second. I mean, there's different variables to what focal length you're at, what lens you're on, how far away the cars are. All of those things matter in terms of, you know, what shutter speed you're going to use. But if you use a slow shutter speed, the fence just disappears because you're shooting the car that's moving past you, and it's just kind of, you know, the fence just isn't as much of a noticeable object in the photos. It can still be noticeable, and you might really see it depending on one of those variables, but generally speaking, the fence is not nearly as visible as it would be at a much higher shutter speed because you're following the subject using that panning motion that I've talked about in a lot of my videos. So to quickly recap, if you have a fence in the way between you and your subject, don't lose hope. It's not the end of the world. Just figure out how to shoot through the fence using a wide open aperture, a long focal length, or a slower shutter speed. One of those three things will get you a really cool picture. And I'm telling you, I do it all the time. I am shooting through fences every single day that I'm at the racetrack. I am rarely shooting through a photo window. It's maybe 20% of my time at a racetrack, I'm shooting through a photo window. So this is something I am very, 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 very used to doing. And it is not the end of the world. You just have to know when to do it and what settings to use, what lenses to use, and then you'll be off to the races. All right, back to the work in Monaco. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. I have a whole channel full of behind the scenes videos and vlogs, and obviously make sure you're following me on all the social media channels at Jamie Price Photo. All right, back to work.
This video is brought to you by Paddock Focus Photography Workshops. Want to learn how to become a professional motorsport photographer or simply improve your racing images? Check out paddockfocus.teachable.com and use the code PFYouTube for 10% off.